In this lesson, I would like to show you how to use the vertical line test to identify a function. We've already talked about the definition of a function, and we know that a function is a relation where each x value corresponds to only one y value. And we've also graphed a few things. So now I want you to be able to look at a graph and determine right away if it's a function or not. So let's look at a relation. Here's a set of ordered pairs, and I think you would probably agree with me that because of these two ordered pairs, this cannot be a function, because here the x value of 1 corresponds to positive 2, and here it corresponds to negative 2. So we cannot have a function where an x value corresponds to two different y values. This cannot be a function. And here's another pair of numbers where the x value corresponds to two different y values. So clearly, this is not a function. Now let's look at the graph of those 5 points. And here I've plotted 4, 3, 1, 2, negative 2, 0, 1, negative 2, and 4, negative 3. And you can see that these two points are aligned vertically. I'm going to go ahead and connect the dots so we can see a little better. But these 2 points are aligned vertically because they share the same x value. And because they share the same x value, this is not a function. And the same thing here. These 2 points are aligned vertically because they share an x value. And also because they share an x value, this is not a function. So anytime we have points that are aligned vertically, we know that what we're looking at is not a function, and that's all the vertical line test says. The vertical line test says if a vertical line can touch the graph twice, the x values are being used twice, and the graph is not a function. So now let's look at a couple of graphs, and we will use the vertical line test to determine if each graph represents a function. Okay, here's our first graph, and you can see that no matter where I draw a vertical line, that vertical line will only touch the graph one time. So yes, any vertical line will touch the graph only once, so this can be a function. However, this graph, I draw a vertical line and I touch the graph twice almost anywhere I draw a vertical line, and it only takes one. So this vertical line right here, which happens to be the y-axis, tells me that this graph of an ellipse is not a function. So no, a vertical line can be drawn to touch the graph twice, therefore this graph is not a function.